happy Thursday morning, November 12, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday morning edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. It's time to rise and shine and get this Thursday off to a good start. So grab that cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy this edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. Let's begin. Happy Thursday to all of you, everyone. First up, we're going to begin with your COVID-19 updates from Johns Hopkins University in Medicine. Let's take a look at that right now. And here is a look at that right now. As you can see, global cases are 52,232,051. U.S. cases are 10,402,273. Global deaths are 1,286,322. And U.S. deaths are 241,808. And that's a look at your COVID-19 updates for today from Johns Hopkins University in Medicine. Dr. Anthony Fauci speaks on the COVID-19 crisis. Let's take a listen to that video from Good Morning America. He talked with Robin Roberts. Let's watch that video and interview.
It could be the worst month to date in fighting the coronavirus. What needs to be done to flatten the curve and to stop the surge in new cases that we're seeing, Dr. Fauci?
Well, Robin, what we need to do is what we've been talking about for some time now, but really doubling down on it. There are certain fundamental, baseline things that you can do. Universal and uniform wearing of masks, avoiding crowded, congregate situations, keeping physical distance. Even though the weather is, in the season of cool weather, try as best as possible to do things outdoors, preferentially over indoors, and wash your hands as frequently as you can. They sound very simple, and given, the really very difficult challenge we're facing, one might think that that doesn't make any difference. It really does, Robin. We know that as a fact. We know that through experience.
When do you believe that a vaccination will be made available for the majority of the American public?
Obviously, the first ones that are going to get it are people like healthcare providers who put themselves at risk, and then there are those who are highly vulnerable. Over the months from December, when it will start in December, then you get to January, February, March, April, we hope that by the time you get into the second quarter, end of April, early May, June, somewhere around that time, the ordinary citizen should be able to get it.
You can imagine people anxious to know the timeline there, so thank you for that. And let me ask you this, Dr. Fauci. The situation that we find ourselves in following the election, this political limbo, is that having any type of impact as we continue to fight this virus?
Certainly it's having no impact negatively on our ability as well as our activity in developing vaccines and developing countermeasures. The medical part of it just keeps going forward. I know this is what I and my colleagues do every day. One, getting the message to the American people like we're trying to do this morning, but also pushing ahead on the development of vaccines and on countermeasures. So although, it is still a major challenge, Robin, we're in a difficult situation and we just got to keep pushing.
Dr. Fauci, do you believe that we're headed for a national lockdown?
I don't know. We would like to stay away from that, Robin, because there is no appetite for locking down on the American public. But I believe that we can do it without a lockdown. I really do. I mean, sometimes when people talk about the measures that I'm suggesting we double down on, they equivocate that and say that, well, that makes that not a lockdown. It isn't necessarily lockdown. You could still get businesses going. You could still have economic forward thinking while you're doing that. You don't necessarily have to shut everything down. Hopefully we won't have to do that. If we can do the public health measures, we wouldn't have to do that. The best opposite strategy to locking down is to intensify the public health measures short of locking down. So if you can do that well, you don't have to take that step that people are trying to avoid, which has so many implications, both psychologically and economically. We'd like not to do that.
And lastly, sir, you know, so many people are suffering from COVID fatigue. What do you say to them this morning?
Well, what I say, I want to just repeat the message that I keep saying over and over again, that help is really on the way. You know, if you think of it metaphorically, you know, the cavalry is coming here. Vaccines are going to have a major positive impact. They're going to start being implemented and deployed in December, and as we get into the early part of the year, it's going to be January, February, March, more and more and more people are going to be able to be vaccinated. So if we could just hang in there, do the public health measures that we're talking about, we're going to get this under control, I promise you.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, as I said, I know you have all these long days, and for you to take time to speak with us means so much, and we appreciate your efforts, and we want you to take care. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me, Robin.
Okay, and there you go on that video with Dr. Anthony Fauci and Robin Roberts talking to him. Cruise ship COVID scare after a passenger reportedly tests positive on the first Caribbean cruise that has sailed since March. Let's take a listen to that video from Gia Benitez from Good Morning America.
Hey, Robert, good morning. Yeah, this cruise line was hoping to set the example, but this morning with passengers stuck in their cabins, it's a bit of deja vu. This morning, COVID scare at sea. A passenger on board the first cruise to set sail in the Caribbean since March, reportedly testing positive for the coronavirus.
It's a real pleasure to welcome you on board Sea Dream.
The Sea Dream 1, with 53 passengers and 66 crew members on board, returning to Barbados last night after leaving the island for a 7-night Caribbean cruise on Saturday.
If it had gone well, it would have proved that cruising could come back in the Caribbean.
According to the Point Sky reporter Gene Sloan, who was on board the ship, all passengers were tested before boarding Saturday. But on Tuesday, one felt sick and tested positive. He says all guests are now quarantining in their rooms.
The captain came on the speaker across the whole ship and told us that a passenger had started not feeling well and had tested positive for COVID.
Sloan says the company didn't require passengers to wear masks at first, but now is.
Thank you for joining me in showcasing our COVID-19 Sea Dream Yacht Club protocols.
Earlier this summer, the company had touted its new COVID safety measures on its website, hoping to be a model example for safe cruising in the pandemic.
Ourselves at Sea Dream Yacht Club feel very confident and take our precautions very seriously.
While the CDC does not regulate smaller ships like these, this setback gives us a look at the struggle bigger cruise lines could face as they try to get back on the water. Less than 2 weeks ago, the CDC updated its list of requirements that companies would need to complete in order to begin operating again, including successfully completing a test run with healthy volunteers who will have to sign waivers acknowledging they are potentially putting themselves at risk.
These are people who are really familiar with cruising. This is very important to them, and they see this as a way of getting on board, getting to do the thing they love, and maybe even helping the industry they love.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. President-elect Joe Biden chooses his longtime advisor Ron Klain as chief of staff. Let's take a listen to that video right now from Mary Bruce from ABC News.
Latest on the White House transition. President-elect Joe Biden forging ahead and naming his chief of staff as President Trump and his team show no signs of admitting defeat. Our Mary Bruce is in Washington with new developments. Mary, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Well, as the president continues to stonewall this transition, the president-elect Joe Biden is plowing ahead, moving to fill pivotal posts in his administration, starting with what is often known as the second hardest job in Washington, his chief of staff. Overnight, Joe Biden making his first major decision as president-elect, naming his right-hand man, tapping longtime advisor Ron Klain to be his chief of staff. Biden praising Klain as invaluable, saying in a statement his deep, varied experience and capacity to work with people all across the political spectrum is precisely what I need as we confront this moment of crisis and bring our country together again. Klain, who already served as chief of staff to Biden while he was vice president, brings valuable insight into combating the coronavirus, having led President Obama's response to the Ebola outbreak. Biden now moving ahead to fill critical posts in his administration.
We're going to be moving along in a consistent manner, putting together our administration, the White House, and nothing's going to stop that.
The jockeying for jobs already well underway. Biden's former rival and self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders is making a public play for Labor Secretary.
I want to do everything I can to protect the working families of this country who are under tremendous duress right now.
While President Trump making his first public appearance since his defeat at a Veterans Day ceremony. Aside from tweets, the president has not spoken out for a full week now, the longest stretch of silence of his presidency. Trump is still refusing to recognize reality and admit he lost, instead pursuing long-shot legal challenges, even though he has yet to put forth any evidence to back up his claims of widespread voter fraud. This morning, one key state is headed for a manual recount. The race in Georgia so tight, the Secretary of State ordering every ballot to be tallied again by hand.
This will help build confidence. It will be an audit, a recount, and a recanvass all at once.
Now that recount must be completed by November 20th. Biden currently leads in the state by about 14,000 votes, and it's unlikely that a recount will significantly move that needle. But even if President Trump were to overtake Biden in Georgia, it would not change the outcome of the election.
And Mary, they're fighting this out in multiple states right now. What are you learning about Trump's strategy moving forward?
Well, we know that he has been huddling with his top advisors, going over his potential options here. But those close to the president tell us that privately he knows this race is over. That's not stopping him, though, from launching these legal challenges. And we're told he may fight this up until mid-December when the Electoral College officially casts their ballots. It's not really clear here what his grand strategy is. We know he's keeping open the possibility of a presidential run in 2024. What is clear, though, is that he is dangerously sowing doubt in the legitimacy of a Biden presidency.
All right, Mary Bruce for us, thank you so much. Latest.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Presidential race is still too close to call in Georgia. Officials there have ordered a full recount by ballots by hand. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC News' Blaine Alexander.
This morning in Georgia, Election Day is stretching well into election month. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announcing a recount of all 5 million ballots by hand to verify the results of the presidential race where President-elect Joe Biden is ahead by 14,000 votes. The recount not likely to change the lead, officials say, but rather bring confidence in the results.
We have all worked hard to bring fair and accurate counts to assure that the will of the voters is reflected in the final count.
While Raffensperger has repeatedly said he has seen no evidence of widespread voter fraud, he is coming under mounting pressure from some in his own party. The Trump campaign demanding a recount.
Is this a response to the demands from the Trump campaign?
No, it's a response to state law that requires us to do a statewide audit.
So that's what we're doing.
Also piling on, Georgia's 2 Republican senators, Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, in a scathing statement demanding the Secretary of State resign, accusing him, without evidence, of failing to deliver honest and transparent elections. Raffensperger made clear he is going nowhere, instead firing back. As a Republican, I am concerned about Republicans keeping the U.S. Senate, he wrote. A clear jab at the 2 lawmakers, both facing critical January runoffs in 2 separate races that will determine which party controls the U.S. Senate. For Republicans, it's all hands on deck.
This is literally, the showdown of all showdowns in terms of politics and what it means. And we don't want to win one of them. We want to win both of them. We need to win both of them.
Democrats Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock banking on momentum from Biden's election and Georgia's changing political tide.
This is not magic. This is hard work. We've been on the ground for years, registering hundreds of thousands of new voters in this state, trying to give people a voice.
Now, earlier there, you saw Senator Marco Rubio in town campaigning for his 2 Republican colleagues. Next week, Vice President Mike Pence will also be in Georgia to do the same thing. Now, on the Democratic side, we understand that the group Fair Fight, which was founded by Stacey Abrams, has now raised more than $10 million for the 2 Democratic Senate candidates. Now, as for the recount and when that will be completed, the Secretary tells me that he is confident it will be wrapped up by November 20th.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. That was NBC News' Blaine Alexander reporting. We're going to switch gears now. Let's go into weather. And Tropical Storm Eta makes landfall in Florida with dangerous downpours and storm surge. Let's take a listen to that video from meteorologist Rob Marciano from ABC News.
Elena has been punishing Florida really all week long with rain, surge, and certainly a lot of wave action to regaining hurricane strength briefly yesterday before making that second landfall just north of here overnight. Here's what it looked like just a few hours ago during high tide, during the height of the surge. We had winds over 50 and 60 miles per hour, a surge nearly 4 feet here in Tampa. We haven't seen water that high since 1991. So a lot of flooded businesses, a lot of flooded neighborhoods. The center now heading towards Gainesville, into Jacksonville. That's where the bulk of the heaviest rain will be. Flood watches are up for the Carolinas as it merges with that front. So a big chunk of the southeast part of the U.S. is going to get a piece of Eta as this season of 2020 refuses to end. Elena has been punishing.
Okay, and there you go from that report from meteorologist Rob Marciano. And now let's take a look at your weather across the United States. And here are a look at temperatures across the United States today. In Boston, you'll see 65 degrees with rain. New York, 64 degrees with rain. Washington, D.C., 66 degrees with rain. In Atlanta, 73 degrees with some clouds and sun. Tampa, 82 degrees with rain. Miami, 83 degrees with some rain, clouds, and a little peek of sun. Over in Dallas, you'll see some 81 degrees with clouds and sun. In San Francisco, you'll see 59 degrees with some clouds and sun. And in Los Angeles, 69 degrees with sun and a little bit of clouds. That is a look at the weather across the United States for today. And switching gears now, some deals for you. You can score up 70% off at Nordstrom's right now. Here are the 29 best deals from Nordstrom. Let's take a look. Number 1 on the list is Ultra Face Cream. And the deal is $26.50. Another number 2 on the list, another type of cream, cream eye treatment with avocado. The original price was $32. The new price is $25.60. That is a good deal. Number 3 on the list, Feather White Folding Compact Hair Dryer. This was the original price. The new price is $99.99. Number 4 on the list, Becca Ultra Clearance Perfecting. $32 was the original price. Now it's $14.40. Best deals for women. Coat. Margot Coat. Original price was $110. Now it's $41.18. Nordstrom 6-pack adult planted face mask. $24. Now it's $14.99. Sam Eldon Tiley waterproof rain boot. Original price was $54.95. Now it's $28.47. Free People found my friend Belcom pullover. Original price was $78. Now $49.90. And the Line Polo Fleece Wedge Sneaker. Original price was $119.95. Now it's $52.43. A slipper, it looks like. Original price was $88. Now it's $29.93. Number 7, another type of coat. Original price was $159. And now it's $74.93. Tank dress. Original price was $56. The new price is $29.18. The best deals for men. Half zipper pullover. The original price was $128. Now it's $37.43. Some cargo pants. The original price was $59.50. The new price is $22.31. Slippers. The original price was $11.00. The new price is $33.71. A t-shirt. The original price was $39.50. The new price is $7.48. Some slip-ons. The original price was $149.95. The new price is $52.49. A jacket. The original price was $300. Now it is $135. Running shoes. The original price was $199.95, and now it's $74.99. A button-down shirt. The original price was $69.50. Now it is $18.73. Best deals for kids. This outfit here, the original price was $59. Now it's $26.55. Nike shorts. The original price was $35. Now it's $15.75. Tie-dye ramper dress. The original price was $39. Now it's $17.55. Some pants. Original price was $39. Now it's $11.70. Best items for the home. And if you want to see this list again, we will share the link with you on the Riley King Network Facebook page right after this broadcast. And we're going to switch gears now. Let's go into entertainment news. And in today's entertainment news, let's take a look at the complete list of the 2020 CMA Awards winners and nominees. Last night was the CMA Awards. It was on ABC last night. How many of you watched it? Comment below and let us know. We want to hear from you. Let's take a look at the complete list. Entertainment of the Year was Eric Church. Album of the Year, What You See and What You Get by Luke Combs. Female Vocalist of the Year, Maureen Morris. Male Vocalist of the Year, Luke Combs. Musical Event of the Year, I Hope You're Happy Now by Carly and Lee. Music Video of the Year, Bluebird by Miranda Lambert. New Artist of the Year, Morgan Wallen. Single of the Year, The Bones by Maureen Morris. Song of the Year, Bones by Maureen Morris. Vocal Group of the Year, Old Dominic. Vocal Duo of the Year, Dan and Shay. And Musician of the Year, Jane Fiddley. Congratulations to all of the winners of this year's CMA Awards show. Congratulations. So if you were watching our broadcast yesterday morning, we talked about a new series on Netflix called Dash and Lily that started on November 10th on Netflix. And let's hear about Dash and Lily. The stars imagine what happened after the final season, and we are hearing a season 2 plans and bonding on set. Let's take a look at this video from Entertainment Tonight.
We had our own little notebook that was actually Austin's idea, which was a really awesome idea, and we would write each other things that I won't talk about, and then leave it for each other in dressing rooms, so we got to know each other that way. Dear Dash, I can say that now because I finally know your name.
Well, I just have to commend both of you because Lily and Dash barely had any scenes together, and yet your chemistry was just so electric. How did you guys bond off-screen in order to find that on-screen connection?
We went to a dive bar. We went to a sushi restaurant. Austin was in from LA, and so we truly did, like, it would be, I don't know, once every 2 weeks or something, we would go out and we'd talk about, what are you filming? What am I filming? And we got to know each other as people. We had our own little notebook that was actually Austin's idea, which was a really awesome idea. And we would write each other things that I won't talk about, and then leave it for each other in dressing rooms. So we got to know each other that way.
That's amazing. Did you leave each other any little dares as well?
It was kind of more about trying to bond with each other kind of in a similar way that they were doing in the show. So I think that was the motivation there.
I think, Austin, you're supposed to burn it. Did you?
I burned it, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You need to frame that.
No.
We could take the bridge and head down Ocean Parkway. Really? Midori, I don't know about you, but my parents would have killed me if I had ditched them in a cab en route to the airport. But it was so nice to see that we did get our little happy ending. How do you guys think that they spent New Year's Day together?
Yeah, I don't know. What did they, both stay in there the whole night, you think? Or did they leave and go home? Maybe they got breakfast? I don't know.
I'd like to think that after a certain point of knowing we were going to get in trouble and grounded, that we were just like, okay, whatever. So we stayed there all night, and then, I think we probably went to a diner and got breakfast, and then parted, and then got grounded for the rest of the day and probably couldn't leave home.
Totally worth it.
Oh, that sounds good.
I got you a notebook.
I love the fact that both Langston and Boomer got their rom-com happy ending at the end of season 1, but I was dying to know how they spent their New Year's Day.
I feel like he would be surrounded by everyone. Like, Boomer would just make sure there's either a party happening or he's going to a party. I think he's a party guy. He has Libra energy. I'm going to say that.
Ooh, I like that.
I think Langston was probably just in his favorite spot, which was at his home on his roof with Benny, with 2 blankets, at least 2 blankets.
It's not about the first kiss. It's about the first one that matters.
Fingers crossed, though, for season 2. I feel like fans are immediately going to want to know if there could be a second season. There are multiple books. What do you guys think? And would it only be centered around the holidays?
I don't know. I think we have to wait for it to come out before Netflix decides if they want to do that or not. I mean, yeah, I can only assume that I think it would have to do with the second book they did.
I would like to see everything that Rachel and David wrote in the second book. I would like to stay true to their vision.
I feel like they've made several books for this exact thing, so why can't the show continue as we as actors continue showing the fans what they want to see from the characters? We're portraying a whole different world. People are expecting these characters to come to life. There's some things coming, and they're working on it. I love it.
Midori, any thoughts on season 2? Anything you'd like to see?
Yeah, I mean, I hear where you're going with this question. Of course, it's always in the back of our minds. But I would say, especially in times like these, we're just so grateful that we have this show done and shot and that we get to show it to you. And we're so proud of our season. And I think that we're going to leave it there and see how it goes.
What was that?
Sometimes words aren't enough.
Okay, and there you go. Looks like a good show. I'll need to go and check it out on Netflix and watch that. And now let's take a look at those celebrity birthdays for today. And happy birthday to all of these celebrities. We hope they have a wonderful birthday and a wonderful day. Anne Hathaway, 32. Ryan Gosling, 40. Happy birthday to all of these celebrities. We hope they have a great birthday and a great day. And thank you for joining us for this Thursday edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I'll see you back here next time for another edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. See you back here tomorrow morning. Bye, everyone.